Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CARTERMATT.com.
This video is our This Is Us Season 4 Episode 15 promo discussion, and we have some theories. I know that this is not the longest promo in the history of promos.
No, they are not giving us a lot.
We have 15 seconds, if that, of Randall talking seemingly to a therapist. But sometimes you get just a little bit of a morsel of something and you can make it into something so much bigger. It's
Absolutely.
like when you pay like $25 to get that like one little piece of saffron at the grocery store and you can make all this awesome stuff out of it. That's what we're going to try to do. This promo is our saffron, everybody.
I see.
Well, before we get into this, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. There we go, if you don't want to sense any other updates. Okay, let's set the table.
All right, with saffron.
With saffron's included here. You've got Randall. He's at therapy.
Yep.
He seems to be trying to talk through some issues.
Yeah, and it seems like the major issue that he keeps falling on is that he thinks that he's the glue that's holding the family together, and that if he wasn't doing that, that they would just be completely falling apart. Nobody would be able to handle anything. And then we had the therapist who was like, "Are you really the glue?" And it just kind of made Randall's up like,
and then we had, and I don't even know if the promo narrator guy was in this promo or not. I don't even remember. I just picture he's there at this point, and it was just sort of like, is Randall gearing up for a breakthrough or a breakdown?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so this could kind of go either way. I think at least the first question that I have is Randall thinking realistically when he's referring to himself as the glue? Or is this actually arrogant that he thinks this about himself?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways he might feel that he is the one that would hold the family together, because I think in some ways, like, he feels a little bit throughout his life as the odd man out, because he's adopted. It's a little bit different for him that, you know, Kevin and Kate are twins. I will say that because we've lost the third one, but they have a different type of connection. And while they are all siblings, because he might feel like just a little bit of the odd man out, that he might be feeling like he's going to take on everything that's going on. Like, we have Kate. Kate has been dealing with a lot of stuff. Kevin has been trying to face his sobriety and not go down the bad path. So Randall not having on the blinders that his anxiety is also an issue, that he's the one that's like, oh, I'm gonna prop everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, not to try to answer my own question, but I don't think it's arrogance that he thinks this. I think it's more, this is someone who tries to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders a lot of the time.
Which also might be part of why he's got heavy anxiety.
Yeah, for sure. He thinks that he has to be Superman, and I think some of that is because he views Jack as Superman in a lot of ways, and I think he feels like he's closer to Jack personality-wise than anyone else, but what worked for Jack doesn't necessarily work for him, and also Jack repressed a lot of stuff, and Jack wasn't exactly fully healthy mentally either.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing of it, right? And when you look back sometimes at your parents and you just don't see that type of stuff, and especially since his father has passed away, when people pass away, you tend to remember the good stuff about them, that, you know, he was the best dad, he was the best husband, he was the best at everything, he could do no wrong, and there's that.
Well, I think the question that really kind of stems from all of this now is, where is this taking Randall? What is Randall going to go through with therapy, and how is it going to impact him, but then in addition, everyone around him? Because what he learns in there, it's going to be a ripple effect to some degree.
Yeah, it is for sure. And I've seen some theories online that a lot of people are thinking that the therapist is maybe going to suggest to him that he needs a break from the family. And I don't think that that's where that's going to go. I think it would be strange to have a therapist suggest that he break off from his support system, because they're still your family. So I would be surprised if that's kind of where it's going to go. What I'm wondering is after the conversation that happened up at the cabin,
Yeah.
where Kevin found out that Rebecca's not doing well and that they all kept it from him because they're worried about his sobriety, and he was like, guys, like, you give me a chance kind of thing to show you where I am, or to even show myself where I am. Because we've seen Kevin in the future, where we're at Kevin's house, Rebecca seems to be living with him, it feels like Kevin is shouldering a lot of the future responsibilities of the family, and he's holding everyone up, that he's in a better spot, he's doing much better financially, he's caring for Rebecca. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if this is kind of a turning point to change Kevin in a really positive way, where Randall's had enough of holding up the family, or that feeling of it. Randall can't do it anymore. He's going to have a bit of a breakdown through a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And that Kevin is going to step up for him. I mean, we've seen over the years Kevin and Randall standing up for each other.
Yeah.
And I think that this just might be one of these things that after we're going to see Kevin going to see Rebecca, and they're going to have some, probably bonding time.
Probably in this episode, yeah.
Yeah, that I think that that's going to be the thing that's really going to change things around for Kevin. And then this is going to happen with Randall, so he's going to start holding people together.
I feel like eventually this is going to put Randall on a positive road, and it's going to put everybody on a positive road.
Yeah.
The thing I keep getting stuck on is what we know is coming in the immediate future, and that is this separation of the family where there's this estrangement that happens, and we don't know why it happens anymore because, the truth is already out there with Kevin. And so what I'm trying to think about now is there something that could happen in therapy where Randall is told something by his therapist, and because Randall is still in denial, it seems like when it comes to a lot of his condition, maybe he's going to get some advice from his therapist, but he's going to take it in completely the wrong way, and then he ends up using that information and potentially lashing out at his family because of it, or blaming them in some way for his own problems, for maybe not stepping up earlier and causing him to have to shoulder this blame. And maybe that's going to lead to something bigger, maybe tempers flare up, and then you have characters saying things that they can't walk back. And I could easily see after the fact Randall going back to this therapist and being like, this happened, and then the therapist being like, no, that's actually not what I meant at all. You need to try to find a way to fix this. But is there an easy fix for it? Probably not.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great theory. I do think that the therapist is going to bring things out in Randall, and he's not going to know exactly what the path is, and then he's going to go out into the world and confront things, or confront his family about things that he thinks are going on, and it may be the thing that leads to the estrangement for a little while.
I think the thing that really, it's very upsetting knowing that there is this dark period coming for Kevin and Randall. I mean, if there, I guess, is a little bit of hope, it's that we know, and we have to cling to this to make sure we don't get too sad over it, that eventually Kevin and Randall, they figure their stuff out, presumably, because they're both in the same room together in that deep flash forward. And I want to believe that they're okay. I don't want to live in a world where they never come back from any of this.
I'm also really curious to learn about the therapist, because in general, it takes a little while. Sometimes you get lucky and you find a good therapist on the first run. Sometimes it takes you a while to find someone. Sometimes you land into some really bad ones that just give kind of terrible advice, or don't really lead you in the way that you need to. It takes a while to find that click. So I'm very curious to learn about this therapist, to see if they are the right fit for him, and maybe this isn't clicking and it is putting him in a weird spot.
I definitely think that whether this therapist is good or bad for him, and we're not going to know the answer to that until it airs, I think we'll spend at least enough time with them, because if my memory serves me correct, and I'm really just remembering this in this very moment, I believe the therapist is going to be played by Pamela Adlon, who you may know from Better Things, and it's a pretty reasonably big name that you're bringing in for this character, so I think you're probably going to see a good bit of this therapist for at least this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't necessarily have long, just lasting value because, I mean, Sophia Bush, very big name, wasn't necessarily around for a long period of time.
No.
But I believe that this is going to be a foundational episode for Randall. Mm-hmm. I hope that it helps him down the road. I'm very worried about what's going to happen to him in the immediate future.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm really worried about what's going to be happening. I mean, it's of course great to have breakthroughs, but it's also how he's able to handle them, or how the therapist is able to help him through it, or even just the support system around him. I know that sometimes people can fall into the sort of trap of, after you get out of therapy, you're like, yeah, I need to go confront this, and it doesn't go exactly the way that you think it is, because you're coming from it from a different place. You've just been in therapy, you've just made a breakthrough. The person that you're confronting or talking to has not done any of those things. So it's almost like what happened when we saw Kevin in therapy, and then everybody was there, and he was the one who had gone through all these steps, and he was in this place, and then everyone was getting really defensive because that's all of their first times hearing anything.
Yeah, and I think there is that sort of just feeling sometimes when you go into a situation like this, that this person is going to have all the answers and make things better and not put you in a position where you have to confront your own mistakes.
Yep.
It never works like that.
No.
And I think Randall is going to have to come to realize that. Maybe he will within this episode. We don't have that much left this season, so I hope we get some answers soon. But I guess for now, let's hear your theories on all of this. What do you think is going to happen with Randall in therapy? What do you think is going to be the cause of the Randall-Kevin estrangement? Be sure to share in the comments. And if you do like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and if you want to support us more, check out that link in the description to the CARTERMATT store, and we'll see you here next time.